welcome officially to day one of the Captain's Blog. You join me here aboard Mystic Horizon number 1, which I've hired from Horizon Craft, part of the Richardson's group, at their Acle boatyard. It's a Broom 29 sedan boat. It just sleeps two. It's 29 foot long, it's 10 foot 9 wide, and it's very nice indeed. Now originally the idea of this was going to be leave Acle, go under the bridge, poot along down to Stracy Arms, more up there, and very early tomorrow morning, that would be Sunday the 22nd of September, head off towards the Southern Broads and go all the way from Stracy Arms to the centre of Norwich. However, things have changed a little bit. The weather's improved, certainly. It's actually sunny, blue sky and quite warm, 20 degrees outside at the moment. But I might be going south later in the week. I've got this boat for a week, 6 nights actually. I've got to take it back on the Friday, unfortunately, because I double booked myself on the Saturday, but hey ho. So I've got the option of going down south, but probably be meeting up with the Corsican and Magellan, two privately owned boats. Both are members of the Norfolk Broads Forum.co.uk. So I may be doing that today. So I'm taking a more relaxed approach today, so heading up the River Bure now, away from Acle and more towards the mouth of the River Thurn. So as ever, there'll be more later. A walkthrough of the boat, talking to you about what you get for your money. It's a very reasonably priced boat, ideal for a couple. It's got a very comfortable large double berth in the bow of the boat, and an open plan saloon and galley area. A small but not super small heads, and this very nice kind of semi outside inside Helm. So the designers have kind of tried to fit just about everything into this boat they could in 29 feet. So sedan type boat. Only possible negatives: very high freeboards makes getting on and off the boat from a low bank a little bit difficult, and a high air draft of 8'6" will mean you have to be careful with your bridges, particularly that at Ludham, or if you're heading south at Vauxhall, for example. It won't otherwise go under Wroxham or Potheim or anywhere like that. Anyway, so it's Saturday the 21st of September, it's day one on the Captain's Blog, and it's about, let me just tell you what the time is. It is 17 minutes past 2, and I'll let you know what happens as it happens. So I've just left the moorings at St Benet's Abbey, where I stopped to unpack my case and stuff. We just literally have on our starboard side the turn off for the river ramp in front of us here. As you can see, we're just passing there. I'm heading straight down the River Bure towards Horning, and I'm going to be going through Horning and then down to Sowhouse, possibly also stopping off at Ranworth. We're actually in search of the Corsican or Magellan. I know they're about this weekend, and they're not in telephonic coverage. And if you haven't got mobile coverage on the Broads, it could well mean that you're at Sowhouse or Horning, because Ranworth does have coverage. So that's why I'm thinking they may well be there. So that's what the aim of the game is today. Try and find where they are. So yes, I moored up very easily with this boat actually, and unpacked everything, put everything away. Unfortunately, after I've done that, the sun's gone. It's now sort of very cloudy, and it's still very mild in consideration to what weather we've had recently, which has been very wet and so on. Now, on the camera's microphones, you may very well hear how noisy the engine is. It's not that bad to the ear, but I'm aware that the frequency that the microphone picks up will probably make it sound like I've got the engine hatch open and the engine's right beneath me. It is a very, not sure if you can see this, nice driving position up here, very commanding. You can have absolute all-round visibility. But I will go through the boat with you later on. But I'm just keeping you abreast of developments. The sun has gone, and that's a shame, because I think today was supposed to be the better of the 2 days over the weekend. So after initially mooring up, feeling confident about the boat, it is wonderful as far as handling goes. You can literally take your hand off the steering wheel like I have now, and unless there's quite a strong wind, it will hold course. It's not a boat you have to keep soaring at the wheel with. And that just makes cruising so much more relaxing, because you can just concentrate on, you know, what's going on, instead of constantly keep soaring at the wheel to keep you on a steady course. So for example, a Bounty 37 bathtub type boat, you can't just take your hand off the wheel, because it will either go left or right. They do not like to keep in a straight line. There's some passing boats here. I've already been spotted twice by a couple of people, so I'm sure that as people are coming past, if they watch the blog and they see a guy like me with a camera, they'll be well aware of the fact that this is the captain's blog. It's quite disconcerting when you stop off for provisions in Budgeons and someone comes up and says, "London rascal." Well, I never. And only in Norfolk does it happen. So one of the other benefits of this boat is you can stick your head out the sunshine roof. Now just in front of us on the right hand side is the entrance to Le Boatyard here in Horning. Now this boatyard was originally cut out of the earth for Wilde's boats back in the 60s, his famous Caribbeans, Calypsos, Bermudas, Bahamas and so on. After that it was Horning Pleasure Craft, part of the Richardson's group, and after that it closed down and was primarily just private marina moorings. Then the boat came on scene and it was the base for them, as still is today. However, very recently the boat has teamed up with Herbert Woods, and Herbert Woods will be purchasing all of their Emperor and Admiral class cruisers, and Le Boat will be acting as their global booking agents, which opens up the world, quite literally, for Herbert Woods and provides a home for those Le Boat boats. However, the boatyard itself will be, and is owned by Richardson's group, converted into what sounds like very well fitted out with finger pontoons and electric and water and all the rest of it, but a private marina. So it'll take away some important visitor moorings for those wishing to come to Horning that don't want to or can't moor outside places like the Ferry Inn or the Swan or get in at the public stave. And it will be quite sad, because whilst that yard has been a marina before, I think that this is the final death knell. It will never revert to a higher yard unless something drastic changes in the coming years. Let me just go inside because of the wind. But yes, it's a shame when a higher yard and its fleet of boats disappear. Despite the fact that Herbert Woods are taking on their boats, Herbert Woods will also be getting rid of 30 of their own less popular class boats over the next 2 years. So whatever way you look at it, 30 or so hire boats from the Norfolk Broads will be up for sale, and I'm sure that the vast majority of those will go into private hands and won't be in a hire fleet. So of course that means quite a few different berths on different styles boats are no longer going to be available for hire. So changes in the hire industry, it never seems to rest. I hope that during the course of this blog we will pop into Le Boat's boatyard and we'll just have a look at it before it finally goes, because this is probably the last time I'll be on the Broads before that sort of is taken over as private marina mooring. So it'd be nice just to capture that on film. While I was speaking to you then, we're just coming past the Ferry Inn here, which has been also subject to closure, and then it reopened and rejuvenated, and now it seems to be very popular. I can thoroughly recommend it. It's a great atmosphere inside, serves good pub food. I wouldn't say it's fancy, but it's certainly very nice, large portions and reasonably priced. As you can see also in the summer, great kids play area, lots of outside seating, and it's really good. The only thing of course is it can get a bit noisy, and when you're moored up in a row of other boats, and also here there's been, I would say, not controversy, but a few ruffled feathers about the trial that I believe of the stern-on mooring here. And the point is, this is for day boats, and to fit in more moorings they're allowing stern-on mooring here. And the point is, well, day boats sort of don't go all the time, so why don't you just have the day boat moorings available for hire boat moorings or privateers who want to spend some time in the pub. Because as you can see, we're having to go into the middle of the river here, which is fine, but if there was a yacht tacking here, it could prove an interesting sort of experience, and it makes those boats that are moored stern on a little more vulnerable. I must remember to concentrate and speak better English. Quite easy to get tongue-tied when you've got no script and you're holding the camera, driving a boat, and having to think about what you're saying. But I feel a bit rusty actually. Haven't done a blog. I came up on the Norfolk Broads recently and hired Sonata number 4 from Barnes Brinkcraft, and but I took a day off, or a weekend off. I didn't actually record any blog footage. This time I was planning on doing a live stream. I said I would never do that again, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind again, because when I was packing to come away, I thought, oh, do I need to bring all of the cables and the cameras and all of the rest of it? It actually weighs quite a lot, and because, as you know, I use public transport to get up here, I thought, no, but I'll do the blog. We are at the Hills of Salthouse. That's what I've decided to call them. It's as you come round the bend and you see the tree line and the hill, and I'm calling that the Hills of Salthouse. So here we are. The time is 1700 precisely, and so that's not bad going, considering the stop that we had at St Benet's Abbey, the detour to Ramsworth Broad as well. As always happens at this time, you remember in 2011 it was a stupidly hot 30-degree record-breaking October. The days were really, really hot, obviously, 30 degrees. The minute the evening came, it was just another October evening. And the minute the evening is coming now, again, it's a typical September evening. It's the mildness is gone. There's a bit of a chill in the air. It's not going to be that chilly though. I don't think the heating will have to come or anything. It's going to be about 11 or 12 degrees overnight. But I checked the weather up tomorrow. Apparently it's supposed to be even better than today, so I was wrong. But so we're going to go left into Salthouse Broad. We'll get the binoculars out and see if the Corsican and Magellan are at Salthouse. They probably are. There's probably no room at the inn for me. So then I don't know what. I'll tell you. You'll find out when I do. Coming up next. So we're at Salthouse Broad and the Corsican is not here. So my idea of Simon not having phone signal because he was at Salthouse or horning is wrong and incorrect. So I don't know where they are. It's actually not too bad. There's not too many boats here. They're all a bit spaced out though. You know, not wanting you stand away from me. So if you go more next to someone, they'll probably think, oh, why did you have to come more next to me? So now I'm in the quandary. I'm in a quandary. Do I go to Wroxham? I'm going to go to Wroxham. I'll go to Wroxham and then I can be for Roy's in the morning. Sunday morning tomorrow though. Yeah, let's go to Wroxham. But let me just show you Salthouse. But as you can see, there's the moorings. Not too many boats here. Nicely spaced out. You can also see how grey today has become. Now, I'm taking a little bit of a risk because I've got no idea what the mooring situation is like in Wroxham at the moment. I want to be moored up no later than 6. I know it doesn't get dark at 6, but it's certainly getting darker, you know, by 6 o'clock. So I'll have plenty of time to get there. It's about, I don't know how long it takes actually. I've got no idea. I thought I did and then I realised I didn't, how long it takes to get from, 40 minutes? I don't know, maybe that's too much. I don't know, you think after all this time I'd know how long distances were and stuff. But anyway, Wroxham it is. And then probably a nice fish and chip supper. And hopefully there'll be a little space in Barnes Brinkcraft where I can just fit in with my 29 foot by 10 foot 9 boat and then easily walk in. Don't have to pay anything, and the only thing that would keep me up at night is the noise of the geese. So I've never seen this with all the lights lit up. It looks absolutely beautiful. This is the Barton House Railway. and only opens very rarely for actual train services. I've never been, well, I was on it once when I was a kid, but it just looks very pretty. You can't really see the little lights there. And then over here is Barnes Brinkcraft. So I better get me wits about me and not cock up. So you join me here moored up in Barnes Brinkcraft's yard. There's plenty of space, so there wasn't a problem getting in here. I think I'll take this opportunity though to give a tour of the boat, show you what I found are the pros and the cons, and let you know what this boat's like if you're interested, maybe a couple or first timers wanting a small but nicely fitted boat on a reasonable budget. So this is a Broom 29 sedan. It's 29 foot long, it's 10 foot 9 wide. It has got a quite high freeboard and it is quite high out of the water at 8 foot 6. So let's walk back and take you forward. So this is Mystic Horizon number 1, and as I said, hired this from Horizon Craft Acle, which is part of the Richardson's Boating Holiday Group. Now this originally was actually from Ireland, Emerald Star. In fact, on the dash there is Emerald Star, and actually this fitter's plate here says Shannon Yacht Fitter, so it's come from Ireland. That's where it would have started life back in 1994. That was when it was built, and here it is now on the Norfolk Broads. Now it represents a very good value for money craft. It's 29 foot long, so it's not too long, but it is very high on the freeboard. Now the freeboard is this. This is the distance from the side deck down to the river level. Now as you can see on this boat, it does come down here, but it is very high. Now this means that inside the boat there is plenty of headroom and space to move around, but if you were to moor up at a low down bank, a wild mooring, perhaps somewhere like that, it would mean that stepping off of here, or getting back on especially, would be more difficult for those with mobility issues. So again, it could be a boat where looks are great and practicality is not the best. Also be aware that it has two places for fenders here and these eyelets along the deck. Now originally these would have had fenders that were crossways, and this is the more traditional kind of Norfolk way of doing their fenders, but the eyes for these fenders remain and they present a possible trip hazard, so just something to bear in mind. You can probably see what I mean if I zoom in now, and we can just see where those eyelets are. If you went to get off of the boat at those particular places, they do stick up. There's also a centre cleat, which is handy for doing spring lines on the southern Broads, where perhaps the drag of other boats passing and the current and the tide is more noticeable. It's nice to have that. It has a bathing platform, but as you can see, these kind of side parts here mean you can't just walk all the way around the side of the boat, so it's not so much so good to use as a way of getting on and off when you're side on moored, but for stern on mooring, as you can see, it's absolutely level here. There is a slight hump here. There's a little box here which I presume contains the rudder. As we come in here, there's a lovely little aft well where you can sit out. You have the shelter of the roof. There's no light out here, which is a shame, but it would be a nice place, especially on a nice sort of summer's evening, to be here. It's quite shallow. It's only a 29 foot boat, so you know, you might not appreciate that if you know, you're looking for a bit more space, such as what we have here from Regal Star from Barnes Brinkcraft, which has a much larger aft well, and of course it also has a light. Under here is just some ancillary tanks and so on. You've got your gas lockers in there. This is basically a storage locker. It's got the rond anchors, and I've put the TV aerial in there. Now, wise people may be thinking, oh well, what if you've got a dog or something with you, it's just going to leap off the back. They provide you with an insert which is actually very light, and it simply slides in, and there we are. It's stopped any little kids, dogs or wayward husbands falling into the drink from the aft of the boat. So as you can see, you've got two opening doors here. They're not really patio doors, but what's a really nice feature about them is they have an inbuilt system here where you just move that and it's open, and then to lock it back you just put the thing and then it's locked. Keeps them open, which is really good. So all glass, all very nice, as you can see here, and then into the Helm. Now this is what I would say is unfurnished. It's got no head linings and it's just the bare gel coat, as you can see. Very stark, very white, and the engine under here is a modern nanny unit, but it's done 9,500 odd hours, and with the sound of here, the engine coming up, it hits this and it reflects off and it reverberates all around because there's nothing to absorb that sound. So with the doors and the windows and the sliding sunshine roof closed, it can be a little bit oppressive as far as noise goes in here. You've got sliding windows, but they only open that much because obviously that's square and then it slopes down. So it means that whilst you can stick your head out, useful for mooring, it's not the ideal situation, but that's just the way the boat was designed. At least you have got windows there that open and close. The Helm is quite simple. It's the standard nanny diesel gauges. You've got your oil pressure, your water temperature, your revs, your hour meter and your volts. Simple operation. There's no handles or pull to stop the engine. You just press the stop button and it stops the engine. Got an automatic bilge pump, domestic water and an electric windscreen wiper. And for some reason, I don't know if it's a gimmick or it was there when it was on the rivers in Ireland, but you also have a nice little compass here with bearings on it. Now you've got a second Helms chair here, and they're very comfortable, these, because they actually do have full foam padding, and a bit like a car, they have a lever here so you can pull that open and slide it backwards or forwards. So depending on, you know, how tall you are, you can actually adjust those, and also for height, so that's really good. And this surface here raises, so when you're sat there your feet can just go like that, and it makes a nice comfortable place to put your feet. You're not going to be left with your feet dangling. Now this is something that I'm not the most happy about. I think it, you know, could have been designed a little bit better. They cut this big hole out and then they went, yeah, we're just going to put a curtain there. So this is effectively all open, and as you can see down here is our saloon here and our galley on the left hand side. So at night, that being green, it might just make things, I don't know, you know, a bit like you're under canvas almost, as half of the boat is effectively like that. So let's go down. So inside you've got a newer style cooker than is displayed in the pictures on the website. 2-burner grill and oven. This is not a 240 boat, so there is no microwave, but there's lots of storage places here. You've got lots of cupboard space. It's got a new modern fridge, although that is the smaller variety, so space is a premium in there. You've got a very large sink with your fresh filtered water supply, and then as we look over here, you've got your 15-inch colour TV. You've got your heater, a spasher system, blows hot and cool depending on what setting you use it for. Lovely new upholstery, as you can see, and it has new Flotex carpeting, and this table here, which I've hit myself on numerous times, and it would be nice if they just curved the edges instead of leaving them like this, because your thigh hitting that, you know about it. It's a fixed table. Some of them on these boats are not, so it's not something you can sort of retract and move out of the way when you're not using it. It's perfectly reasonable though, and easy to keep clean. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's not too big, it's not too small. It's just right. These are very comfortable high back seating, and you've also got your stereo there, your CD player and your stereo speakers here. And as you can see in here, if I just move the camera around to show you my height, it's full head height in here. Now, of course, if you're 6'5" or something, you would have a problem. But comparing it to some of these kind of, if you want to call them sports style boats, it's really airy and it's nice. And when you're down here, that large opening that I talked about with the canvas cover, when it's up, as you can see, it means all the light can pour in here. The only thing is that at night, when that's all rolled down and here, it's not going to be the most nice, I suppose. Most of these types of boats, they have a sliding kind of perspex screen that goes over there. So I did think when this was in the brochure, since this has no curtains here, I thought, what about privacy at night? But that's how they've dealt with it. There's more storage here. Believe it or not, this cupboard here, goes all the way down, so it's a full height kind of wardrobe almost. Other than that, storage is a little bit at a premium on this boat. You've got a drawer here, but otherwise it's what I would call, you know, one of the ones where everything's on display. So you put your stuff here, and then the galley here again, you've got to put your stuff there and stuff like that. So it's only a small boat though, let's not forget. Now let's look in the heads. Some people have said about this boat, oh, it's terrible, they're so tiny. Well, they're small, but show me a boat's toilet that isn't. But this is bigger than ever was Belmore, or its sister here, Regal Star. It's a decent sized self-draining shower pan, a nice full-sized porcelain toilet, a nice shower system here where you can adjust the temperature and then the flow separately. So once you get your temperature right, you leave that, and the next morning you come back to it and it's ready for you to go. Really nice sink, again, full headroom in here, and so yeah, I can't complain at all. I think it's a lovely little head. So there's a nice mirror there, and the light above the mirror as well. You've got a shaver socket there. So as heads go on boats, especially small ones, that's lovely. Now there's only one cabin on this boat, and it's here. So you've got a lovely double berth here, and look, this is the benefit of coming with Horizon Craft Acle. It's all made up for you, and that really makes a difference to me. And not only is it just made up, it's really nice linen. I've said this before, but the style of it, the quality of the cotton, the quality of the pillows, it's soft, it's just right. And they give you a firm pillow and then a squishy pillow. So maybe you're a firm pillow person, a bit like me, but maybe you just like a squishy one. Well, it's fine, you've got yourself covered there. Nice comfortable blanket. Again, there's space to put things here. You do get a full height wardrobe in here, which is just there, and then turning around here you've got plenty of storage space here, a drawer and a cupboard. Again, full height headroom even in here. It's the same height throughout the whole boat. You then also have a sunshine roof here to let some more light in, and although the berth tapers at the base of it, it otherwise is very comfortable, very wide, perfectly comfortable for a couple. You've got two more lights here. Originally they would have been spotlights, so I've replaced those with these Osram very bright fluorescent lights though. So generally speaking, as you can see, it's a compact boat, let's not deny it, but it's reasonably priced. It's reasonably new as far as boats go. It's 1994. It's had some updates, some nice curtains, some nice upholstery, and it's very easy to handle. Coming into here, you know, you can really kick the stern round when needed to come into a mooring. I've got no qualms about that. It does tend to pull to the left when you put it in reverse and you don't compensate with the steering, because obviously there's all of the weights at the stern of the boat, and up here is not that heavy. Now I believe it's a semi-displacement hull, so it's not like a planing hull where there's very little of it in the water, but in its original guise, if you like, what it was designed, what it was built for, would have been like a river / estuary cruiser. So not really full sea going, although on a calm day, you know, it'll be perfectly fine at sea. It's a very high freeboard, you don't want to worry about any water ingress. And of course some of these boats on the private market had quite powerful engines put in them. This one's just got a 38 horsepower nanny unit, but as you can see, very clean, very well kept, you know, lovely kept boats at Horizon Craft, and that is all I can really say. That's all she wrote. So thanks for watching the walk round with me on this particular boat. Mystic Horizon number 1. Mystic Horizon number 2 is almost identical. Had a little peak on board. The table isn't fixed. It is movable, adjustable, and you can flip it round if you want to. Other than that, identical. Siesta from Richardson's Stalin base costs the same money, and that is identical as well, apart from minor changes like upholstery colour and stuff like this. It's worth bearing in mind though that the Mystic Horizon boats from Acle are not available for short breaks. So if you just want a short break, you go from Stalin with a Siesta class boat. If you want a week's boat, then come to Acle and have Mystic Horizon. There are 2 in the class, very popular. Both of these classes have been fully booked throughout September, throughout August and throughout July before I came along and booked this. Next week this is also booked. These are very popular boats with couples, and I can perfectly see why. They're a lovely boat for the Norfolk Broads. The only issue might be the height of the boat. 8'6" means that even London Bridge at times may be impassable, and extra care must be taken if you're going on the southern rivers when you pass through places like Vauxhall, Great Yarmouth, Reedham, although that will swing if push came to shove, but St Olave's and places like this do take care, and it won't pass under Thorpe Railway Bridge either. So that's been the walkthrough with the London Rascal. I hope you've enjoyed it, I hope it's been informative, and if you're in the market for wanting to hire this type of boat, I think this could be well on your list. So maybe I should call this part After Hours with the Rascal maybe. It's 20:36 hours and not too long had dinner. Went to the Chinese fish and chip shop in Wroxham, very nice it was too. But I've actually done a modification to the boat and it's something I thought about before I came away, and went out and bought something, and I'm blooming pleased I did. And let me explain what that is, and also I talk about something to do with boat lighting as well. So it's a riveting what goes on when Rascal is moored up. So I'll talk you through this little modification I've made. Okay, so here it is. This is the standard kind of thing. This is what you get. This is what I was talking about earlier, being a little bit unsure about, because it feels a bit like being under canvas with this curtain that's slightly ill-fitting as well. And how it works is it's stitched here, and then there's a cane here. You can't really see that well, but there's a cane which holds that part there, okay, and then it comes down here, and it's not fixed or anything, it just flops down, okay. So it makes life slightly oppressive in here and a bit sort of untidy having that. So what I did is I bought, in fact let me just show you how one puts this back over there. So there we go, you see it all just folds up there. So you see without it, it's a much more open place, but look, you can't see the doors. There's a curtain that wasn't there before. So I went and got the cheapest single white sheet I could find, okay, and then I've just basically hooked this up in the boat. I'll put this light on, and what it does is it basically gives some privacy. If you're moored up, maybe I'll be moored up and there'll be a boat behind me kind of thing, so they can't see in, so I don't have to have this down, but of course it means that I've got all of the privacy afforded if this had a curtain. So really cheap cotton single sheet, 3 hooks, and there you go, there's my modification, and it fits like it was meant. Look, so they're just the right width, height and everything, and it's the right colour. So that's why it pays to sort of be a bit anal before you come and think, I'm not sure about that. Now the other thing I wanted to talk about, lights. These lights here are very prevalent, especially with Herbert Woods. You either get these with Herbert Woods or you get the round dome types, and they contain a single 8-watt fluorescent tube, okay, and those you'll see have 2 fluorescent tubes, 2 8-watt fluorescent tubes, okay. Now the problem with these lights is it's not so much the output. 8 watts is perfectly fine, but oh my god, it doesn't work on camera maybe so well because it makes up for it with the colour balance, but it's so harsh, the light. It's a really harsh white light, really cold kind of a light. It's not very nice at all. So a really good way of making this harsh white light a little bit less so to your eyes is get a couple of candles, a couple of tea lights, okay. And this doesn't make you think, what? But honestly, when you sit down with these, not only does this create a nice sort of ambience, but because that's a much higher colour temperature, your eyes kind of look at this and look at this, and it just kind of cancels each other out, and it makes it a bit of a warmer light than this, which just reminds me of, like, I don't know, a hospital or something, you know. They're just not very nice. I don't know if you can buy tubes that are not quite so harsh as this, but if it was my boat personally, there's no place on a boat for fluorescent tubes. I mean, this is 8 watts of power, so if you have that's 16, and this as well, I mean, you're just eating up amps, you know. So where are the LEDs, guys? That's where it's at now. You know, some nice recessed LED spotlights, away you go. You have them in different colour temperatures, they hardly take any power, they last forever, reasonably, you know, sort of like 20,000 hours or something. But anyway, that's my little top tip for the night. These came from the pound shop, these little metal trays so you don't go melting anything. These tea lights came from the pound shop, they're vanilla essence. No, I've not gone a bit sort of girly weird on you. This is just about making the lights less so, and also, yes, okay, it's vanilla scented candles, guys, okay, and on a boats sometimes smell a bit dampish, okay, it just makes it a bit nicer, okay. I'm just going to say it for the very tiny amount of women who watch these blogs, yes, I'm in touch with that side. I don't mind having a scented candle every now and again, okay. Now I've just admitted to the whole world on a blog, whatever. So anyway, I just thought I'd talk that through, so I'll turn this off. These are like the original lights, and they've got like a recessed switch there. But yeah, it's actually really mild outside. Let me just unhook my modification. And this camera's brilliant for low light. It really sees what you see. Now, one of the other good things here, we've got what I call a runner. It's now about 2045. And over here there's Trinidad. Now that's a 12-volt boat. It's not like they've got to run the engine to run the microwave, so I can only presume they either are having a long session of showers or their batteries are knackered and the only way to kind of watch telly and stuff is to run the engine. Anyway, let's hope it doesn't go on all night. In this direction, however, we have the Barton House Railway. I have said about this earlier as we came in, and it was all lit up, all pretty. Well, all night, even though it's not really late, is it? Let's face it, you know, 9:15. But it's really good because every now and again you hear the boop boop, and then the whistle, and then ding ding ding, and the signal box, and then ch 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 as the little train goes around the garden. It's only a tiny little garden railway, but they only open like, I think it's like the last weekend before hell freezes over, you know. It's something like this, you know. It's like, so I'm here and it's open and I can hear it. I mean, the last time I went on this I was about 4. That's, you know, how rare this opens, or rare that I've ever been up here. But if you can find out on the website, Google it, okay, it's got a website, if you can find out the opening times, well worth it. And I think it's magical, even though it's only around the garden, it's not very big. But on a little tiny steam train at night with all the proper little signals and the signal box and everything else, it's really nice. Just spoilt by the engine running of the other boat. But boatyards, they're not bad places to moor actually, because it was just a step up here. Like when everybody's gone home, they're really quiet. Apart from the fact that that boat's engine's running. Did I say that already? So anyway, just a little update, just the end of day 1. Very mild out, just in a t-shirt, it's not cold, bit dewy. Tomorrow's supposed to be even warmer than it was today. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Ooh, that was a bit of a step, wasn't it? I've got to go on the laptop and I want to find out tide table for Great Yarmouth Monday. I think tomorrow is going to be Roy's, Pootling, and then we're going to be heading south, I think, maybe. I want to head south, I don't know why, but I don't often get the opportunity to, and if I can, I think the later in the week we go, the better, the less stupid o'clock in the morning the tides are. Tomorrow, I know, is a no-no because low water is 6:19, slack water 7:19 in the morning. It's about 3 2/4 hours from Wroxham to Acle. A couple of hours from Acle to Yarmouth. So, no, it's not going to be possible tomorrow. It would have been possible if I had Stracy Arms moored tonight, and then I could have got up sort of 6:30 in the morning and then got down to Yarmouth not too long after low water. That would have been ideal, but That's the thing, you've got to take into consideration the tides, and this time of year with the PM tides are too late, I'm afraid, because that's when it's dark already. So anyway, I'm rattling on a bit as ever, but so yeah, check that out, tide tables, figure out what we're going to be doing tomorrow, early night, and I'll bring you along for the ride wherever we go tomorrow. So if you have been, thanks for watching day 1 of the Captain's Blog.